Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson.
And once again, you found Santa Rosa Week on the beautiful Mediacom Channel 27. And I tell you, Deborah, every time I think about last week's show, I still laugh.
It makes you want to become a Navarre city resident.
You know, I mean, I'm not that I'm proud of it, but I barely graduated high school myself, and math sometimes, you know, troubles me.
You're talking about the pie chart from the news channel.
But
it was colorful.
It was colorful. That's.
And apparently it was our show that brought it to their attention. And a short time later, it was pulled from the website.
Apparently so. The power of Santa Rosa Week, ladies and gentlemen,
cannot be underestimated.
The crack reporter Deborah Nelson spotted this, sent an email to the publication, and shortly thereafter it was pulled. So you're getting action, and you're out there helping
on all the important issues.
You're helping the little people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this week, and we'll try to make this as non-boring as possible. It was kind of a very interesting meeting. We went to a SIS meeting.
Yes, Strategic Intermodal System.
Okay. Now, I think for a novice like me, I think the easiest way to explain it to you is our interstate system at one time would kind of be what we're talking about here as the SIS, where you have major arteries, you know, four-lane roads,
right.
You know, entrances and exits. And
this also then incorporates railroads and ports,
right?
And airports.
The whole purpose of the SIS is to get out further, time-wise. It is to incorporate every mode of transportation.
To plan out.
To further planning.
Right.
You know, what should be included in it, you know, and all, and I've been, you know, I found it value added.
May I just point out that besides myself and you and one other resident, that I don't think there were any or very few actual residents, citizens there. Most of the people who showed up were either city or county employees or regional
state employees.
Right.
State DOT.
Exactly.
Right. Well, the beauty of that is, Deborah, and ladies and gentlemen, our crack reporter, Deborah Nelson, at each section of the program, the person who was driving the discussion would automatically look at Miss Nelson and call her because he knew that she was going to ask a question.
You know, but they were taking public input.
Yeah,
and
it was good.
It sort of disturbs me that 3 people out of this entire region were offering up the public input.
It disturbs you, but me, it makes me happy because everything you said and I said will be the guiding comments all the way through 2060.
We gave them a lot of input. I think the primary input that we gave them, and we agreed on this, was that we don't see any need for toll roads in this area.
Absolutely.
And we certainly don't see any need for taxpayer dollars to go towards privatized toll roads.
Right. Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, and that was one of the reasons that we wanted to attend the meeting. Is it's already happening in the northern part of the county, northern part of the country, where taxpayers have paid taxes years and years and years, put in the infrastructure, changed it from a 1-lane dirt road to a 4-lane asphalt road, poured all this money into it, and then they sell that road to a private entity. They put a toll booth up on it. And we're just adamantly opposed to it.
Well, and there's some groups that actually want to build new roads and bridges and have us contribute towards that, and then they're going to own them, and they're going to toll us on them and big money.
And on your behalf, we just want you to know that in several portions of the program, we made sure that it was put on their tote board
Yes.
that we are adamantly opposed to any toll roads in the South, is what I said at one time. I don't want to hear anything about
Yes.
a toll road. It's ridiculous.
Well, and certainly no public dollars going towards private toll roads.
Right.
That's sort of defeats the purpose of privatization.
Right.
I would think.
Some of the good things that we saw in this meeting was, for example, and I mean, I guess it would go without saying in some circumstances, but our interstate system didn't really address connectivity to our many military bases.
Yes.
So within the CIS, they've there's a picture of throughout the state every military base, and it is considered, if XYZ airfield is over here, if we could build a 3-mile 4-lane to tie it into the interstate or tie it into a major thoroughfare,
That's been going on for some time. The military is somewhat responsible for that anyway, at the federal level. The other thing that we helped them with was the question of where money should come from. And we actually had somebody in the audience, and it was a state employee, actually said they'd like to see gas taxes go up.
Right.
Someone actually said that, and I think between our input,
gas taxes and they said sales tax too.
Yes, and I think we cancel that out.
Yeah. Look, I mean, if you're watching this show, I think you already know that I certainly believe in smaller government, lower taxes, and personal responsibility. I am never. I won't say that I'm never going to be in favor of a tax increase, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to work at me hard and lay it out to ever convince me of it. And when you look at the amount, I mean, look, there was a lot of people involved in this little meeting, and I'm glad that they had the meeting. But just the traveling group of people is eating up a lot of money.
Right.
Engineers, travel, all this kind of stuff, and it is good to plan, but it's one of the things that they asked us, ladies and gentlemen, was, is our program too small? Is it just right, or is it too big?
Yeah.
And of course, I raised my hand and I said, well, it's all relative to how much money you have. If it's small and you don't have enough money to fund small, then it needs to be smaller than that.
Now I told them if they're going to raise any taxes, they need to reinstate the intangibles tax, which is on high dollar stocks and bonds and securities and stuff like that, instead of regressive taxes like gas and sales tax. That was my input on that subject.
And we have an example right here in Santa Rosa County. We've heard all the wailing and the gnashing and how horrible it is. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $18 million has been cut out of the annual budget for Santa Rosa County. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, have you seen the county fall apart? Deborah, you seen the county fall apart?
Right.
I'm a personal believer, and now we have an example in front of us. Some 18% has been cut out of our normal operating budget, and everything's still working fine.
Now, the other thing that struck me about this meeting was they were talking about ports.
Right.
And we've heard recently from a certain group of people, and it's people in Pensacola who, I have no doubt, want to take the port of Pensacola, get rid of it, and put condos and make money, short-term profits off condos. I have no doubt of that in my mind. And we hear from them, ports are obsolete, nobody uses them anymore. There's no reason nobody's going to send stuff to this area of Florida when they've got Fort Lauderdale and Miami and Jacksonville and so on and so forth. And what we found out at the SIS meeting was that Port St. Joe, who has had no port operating for a long time,
they're greatly excited about it, and they don't even have a port there yet.
They don't have a port, and they've somehow managed to wangle having their non-existent port added to this SIS system.